Bertie huffed and tutted, loudly enough, he hoped, to be heard not only by the customer, but also the young man issuing his books. Was it really too much to expect more than one single person serving? By the time it was finally his turn, Bertie's patience was thinning. The assistant did not smile. Bertie felt his chest begin to pound. The sloppiness of these people. He slapped his library card down. As the young man fumbled with it, swiping it several times with the laser, he wondered if he would ever get out of the place. "Look, just get the books," he snapped. "I haven't got all day." The worker, visibly nervous, issued the books clumsily, dropping several and operating in a fidgety manner. As he pressed down the stamp, he was stopped in his tracks. Hang about," said Bertie, snatching a book and jabbing a finger at the imprinted date. "We're going away on 24th. A 3-week cruise to Marbella and thereabouts. 5-star, and we'll not be scrimping on champers neither. So 21st's no good, is it? Give us a later date. Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't want apologies. I want you to just do it." He pushed the book back, turning away. The assistant stamped the book with a different date and handed it back to Bertie, who dropped it in his carrier bag. But once all of the issues had been made, the assistant frowned at the computer screen. "Oh, I'm sorry about this, Mr. Brayfield, but what now? Were you aware you had an outstanding loan? The Berlitz Guide to the Algarve." "What do you mean? I haven't any books out save these uns." "I'm sorry, sir, it says here—" "I don't care what it says there. I'm telling you I brought the bloody thing back. You can come and search me house if you want." The assistant double-checked and looked at Bertie apologetically. "I'm afraid it does show that you have the Berlitz Guide to the Algarve." "I brought it back. I had it, but I brought it back. I remember getting it when me and the missus went on one of us cruises to Algarve. We take a good half-dozen or so cruises a year, lad, along with many, many more holidays to foreign countries. Seychelles, Bahamas, Costa del Sol, lot. Aye, it don't come cheap, but we've got the brass. I'm sorry, Mr. Brayfield, if we could just—" "I've told you I brought it back." "I'm sure you did. It may well be a computer fault." "Aye, these bloody things." He tapped the side of the machine. "They're a bloody nuisance. I'll freeze the fine, and if you could just have a good look when you get back—" "I'll not be having no look. I haven't got 'em." "And what fine?" It's 66 pence, Mr. You must be bloody joking." "I haven't got 'em. I've told you. You can shove your flaming fine." "Sir, there's no need to become abusive." "You want to see me get abusive? I'm telling you, son, you're a bloody rip-off merchant, coming up to me, demanding fines. It's a great cheek. All the money I've stumped up in my life. Well, you're getting nothing out of me, sunshine." A smartly dressed woman had approached and spoke to Bertie in soft, reassuring tones. "I'm the manager," she explained. "Is there a problem, Mr. She glanced at the screen. "Mr. Brayfield?" "I'll tell you what the problem is. This clown wants his head testing. I know damn well I brought them books back, but he reckons I owe him 66 pence." A queue had formed behind. Some people were becoming impatient, others quietly amused by the altercation. Bertie swivelled round to see a boy of about 8 or 9, tittering in embarrassment. "Now listen here, you nasty little sod." Bertie jabbed a finger at the child. "You keep your trap shut, or else I'll box your bloody brains in." The child, in sudden shock, buried his head in his mother's side. Those queuing were also overcome with shock. Even Bertie seemed to regret what he had said. "Look, I'm sorry. Hey, lad, I didn't mean it. You've scared him now." The mother motioned to the manager. "I want this lunatic thrown out." "Mr. Brayfield," said the manager, "perhaps it would be better if you left for now. I think this is just inflaming the situation." "So now you're chucking me out?" "Mr. Brayfield, I'm not chucking anyone out. I just don't want anyone becoming abusive in my library." "Oh, you as well. That were his crack." He motioned at the assistant. "I'll show you a thing or two about abusive. What about this, eh? abusing a senior citizen, demanding money for no reason. Well, you can have your books back. I'll find another library. I don't need your filthy books. They're dirty articles to me now." He slammed the first down on the counter, all but flinging the second with barely a glance. "It's lowest at low, this library. I've been to countries right across the world, and I've never been treated like this. You're a bloody shower, and you can have last week's books back and all." As he banged the last volumes down, the assistant, a sudden look of discovery on his face, held one up for closer inspection. There in his hand was the Burlitt Guide to the Algarve. A silence enveloped all at the counter, staff and borrowers alike. "Ah, you bloody sneak," Bertie eventually mumbled, slit-like eyes firmly focused on the floor. A snigger was heard behind. "You saw him, didn't you?" He looked at the assistant. You saw him, and you knew I were bringing him back, and you saw that bugger." As he stormed from the building, he called back, "You can shove your lousy fines. Take me to court." And indeed, he felt at that moment almost prepared to endure a prison sentence rather than face the injustice of coughing up 66 pence.